Ren stood at the foot of the mountain. The wind sliced through his jacket. The path ahead twisted into mist and shadow. He had been climbing for 3 days. His legs ached, his hands were raw, and the summit felt like a cruel rumor, not a real place. Turn back, the wind seemed to whisper. No one would blame you. Ren tightened his grip on the walking stick he carved himself. Behind him lay safe ground, warm fires, easy comfort. Ahead, only the unknown, the impossible, the promise of something he could barely imagine. Maybe it's enough, he thought. Maybe I've gone far enough. But deep inside, something small, stubborn, and alive whispered back, one more step. Ren sat on a flat stone, catching his breath. The mountain stretched endlessly above him, wrapped in cold silence. Memories of others who had turned back flashed through his mind. Strong climbers, wiser men, people he once thought were unbreakable. Maybe they were right, he thought. Maybe not every summit is meant to be reached. The doubt grew heavier with each gust of wind. His body screamed for rest. His heart pounded with fear. His mind listed every reason why he should stop. No one would see you quit, it said. No one would know how close you were. But then softly, almost like a heartbeat beneath the fear, he heard it again. One more step. The mist thickened as Ren rose to his feet. Every step forward felt like walking through wet cement, slow, sinking, impossible. The mountain seemed alive now, whispering doubts into every crack of his spirit. You're too tired. You're not strong enough. You're foolish to think you could make it. Ren closed his eyes, letting the cold bite his skin. He wasn't fighting the mountain anymore. He was fighting the part of himself that wanted to surrender. One more step, he thought, forcing his foot forward. It wasn't grace. It wasn't power. It was pure stubbornness. A promise to himself that he wouldn't leave without knowing what waited beyond the mist. If this light speaks to something inside you, subscribe and ring the bell. Maybe it's time to stop hiding your own. Hours slipped by. Ren didn't count the steps anymore. He didn't chase the summit, didn't dream about the view, didn't imagine the moment of victory. He just moved, step after broken step. And then, without warning, the mist began to thin. At first, just a pale break in the gray, then a sharpness to the air, a lightness to his chest. Ren lifted his head. Ahead, the final ridge stood clear. Not a fantasy, not a rumor. Real, solid, close, closer than he had ever dared believe. And suddenly, all the doubt, all the pain, all the weight he carried, cracked open into something fierce and burning. Hope. With every ounce of strength left in his body, Ren climbed. The ridge wasn't smooth. Sharp stones cut at his boots. The wind howled against his ears. But he didn't stop. Not because it was easy. Not because he felt invincible. But because after everything, he understood. Greatness isn't a sudden leap. It's a collection of steps no one else sees. The final stretch burned in his muscles, carved into his lungs. But it was no longer about how far he had come. It was about honoring every moment he almost quit, and didn't. With one last push, Ren pulled himself over the ridge, into the open sky. The view stole his breath away. The endless valleys below, the rivers twisting like silver ribbons, the mountains standing proud in the distance. All of it, hidden just beyond the mist that almost turned him back. Ren stood there, battered and shaking, but more alive than he had ever felt. He realized greatness wasn't about standing at the top. It was about every quiet, lonely, painful step that led him there. Not the moment of arrival, but the countless moments he refused to quit. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest victories are the ones no one else will ever see but you. When was the last time you took one more step, even when everything inside you said to stop?